right. Good morning, Lean Team. Anyways, I had an interesting question asked to me by Chad Biscoe, the president of the Lean Leadership Institute. And as you may know, I'm the co-founder. So every week we want to answer one question from our group. So here's the first question that Chad asks me. Now make sure this is dry erase. Yes. How do you self-improve? It's a good question. So I've got this process and policy where I want to challenge myself. So every week I want to take on a role or take on a challenge. One of the challenges that was set in front of me by Nick over at the Project Management Institute was, George, can you do a webinar for us on improvement and sustaining change? So that's what I did. I actually came up with 3 points or 3 key steps to sustaining change. And what I did was put a presentation together, delivered it for the Project Management Institute, and that was November 6th. And here we are, November 16th today, so 10 days later. What I do is I kind of wait to see what the results are of the presentation. And so far, a rating of 4.28 out of 5, which is not bad. You know, I consider that pretty good. And I'm looking for constructive criticism so that I can improve my process. So one of the things I talked about is one of the key steps is to develop yourself and others. So one of the things to remember is PDCA is a process step for developing yourself. You plan to do, say, a webinar like myself. You do the webinar, and here I am at the check stage. I'm going to check to see how I did. Now, personally, that number is a little low for my liking. I prefer to have it around 4.75. So there's a little bit of a gap, and I'm looking for things to do to improve for next time. So one of the comments so far out of the, 832 views, plus I had over 1,000 people in the webinar. So 1,000 people plus 832. I've only got one piece of constructive criticism, which is, George, I think you do a little too much name dropping. It's an interesting concept because in here I actually suggest that I was going to talk about some of my coaches and what they've taught me over the years. The Lean Leadership Development Model was taught to me by Dr. Jeffrey K. Liker, which is awesome. I met him in 2012. We set up a company called Lean Leadership Institute just to teach this model to so many people in the industry. So that said, name dropping was kind of what I said I would do, but apparently people know me as much as they know Jeff. So they said, George, you're fine all by yourself. You don't need to actually drop anybody's name. Just do it on your own. So that's one of the things I may be looking to improve, but I'm looking for feedback all the time. So what do I do to self-improve? I plan an activity that challenges me. One was a creative challenge. I needed to come up with, I think, 3 things and give people some advice on sustainable improvement and then go deliver. So my check is happening now, and I'm saying I'm unhappy with the ratings. I'm actually going to view the webinar now myself and come up with my own suggestions and take on other people's suggestions and make an adjustment for next time. So I'm going to put that in my standard work for the next time I do it. So I'm going to think about specifically what could I do to get better. That's called the check part of the PDCA. Plan, do, check, and adjust. So my adjust will be next time I do a webinar. Anyway, so Chad, that's what I do, and thank you for asking.